Good afternoon. I'm Jess De Los Santos. This is One News Now. Law enforcers, political and religious groups, as well as some local candidates joined the Unity Walk in Manila this morning to call for a safe and fair elections. During the walk, local Comelec officials vowed to intensify their information drive to help the voting public. The Manila Police District, on the other hand, said they would remain nonpartisan throughout the election season. Meanwhile, Quiapo Church Parochial Vicar Father Douglas Badong urged Filipinos to vote wisely in the upcoming polls.
Pagkatapos ng halalan, lagi nating sinisisi yung mga politiko na naihalal dahil hindi sila nagiging tapat, dahil hindi sila nagiging mabuting lingkod ng bayan. Sisi tayo ng sisi sa mga politicians, sa mga lingkod bayan, pero hindi natin sinisisi ang ating pamamaraan ng pagpili.
Marikina Representative Stella Kimbo says the 200 peso monthly cash subsidy for the poor won't be enough to sustain families. Kimbo, who is also an economist, told the chiefs that it would be more beneficial to suspend fuel excise taxes.
If you divide that by 30
it's
days,
6.6.
and you divide that by 5 because there are 5
It's
members
1.3.
in a family, that's 1.33 per person per day, which is you can't even buy a candy. So in my head, you're better off suspending excise taxes for 4 months rather than give out 1.33 per person per day.
Kimbo also believes that a 4-day work week would help the public cope with rising fuel costs.
Para sa akin, oo. Kasi at least menos transportation, hindi ka na maliligo, hindi ka na maglalaban ng damit. Malaking bawas yun, di ba? 1 day rin yun of expenses.
More stories after this short break. Stay with us. And you're still watching One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. One engineer has found a way to conserve fuel using cooking oil mixed with diesel. Laila Pangilinan tells us how in this report.
As oil prices continue to climb, motorists are looking for ways to conserve fuel in their gas tanks. This engineer found a so-called life hack to make fuel last longer. Electronics and communication engineer Ed Briseño adds 10 liters of used cooking oil to 20 liters of diesel. The result?
Nadagdagan, mas lalong lumayo yung pagbiyahe ko. So from, sabi natin, 200 kilometers, so naging mga 280, 290 na. So nadagdagan pa siya ng mga 80 to 90 kilometers more na layo.
Briseño says he has been mixing 1 part of used cooking oil and 2 parts of diesel since 2019. He says he hasn't experienced any trouble. In fact, his car still runs smoothly like any other diesel-powered vehicle.
Kahit puno pa kami rito, kahit yung pamilya ko puno, fully loaded. So wala akong napansin performance degradation.
If you're curious about the smell of used cooking oil, Briseño says it's not that relevant, as the diesel content is still higher. But before putting used cooking oil in your cars, the oil needs to undergo a filtration process. Briseño also reminded, this is only applicable to diesel-powered cars. In order to make a diesel-powered vehicle run via used cooking oil, filtration plays a very vital role. This used oil that came from restaurants or probably from your homes are being filtered, and you can see the difference in color. Once it's filtered, we can fill this baby up like so. Voila, guys! This baby is good to go. Briseño banked his research on the premise that peanut oil was once used as fuel before the discovery of diesel. Filtration is crucial, as it gets rid of unwanted particles that might end up on sensitive parts of the vehicle. The practice is common elsewhere in the world, but only a few risk-takers like Briseño do it here in the Philippines. Some experts are hoping that the Science and Technology Department will look into Briseño's project as an alternative solution amid oil price hikes.
If you can, lessen your dependence on manufactured diesel fuel, sobrang mahal ngayon ng diesel, the less of that you can use, the better. Lalo na, puro traffic, nakikita nyo. So, since nakatigil ka na lang naman, you're just burning cooking oil.
For News 5, Laila Pangilinan, we are One News.
In other news, around 2,000 bikers held a prayer vigil in Pasay for 2 of their fellow cyclists who died in a vehicular accident this week. Initial reports say that cyclists John Paulo Santos and Jericho Aguilar were only taking a break on the sidewalk when a white van hit them. Their fellow cyclists offered prayers and flowers, lit candles, and wrote messages on dry fit shirts.
Our fellow bikers, Joel and Echo, kasama natin araw-araw pag-ikot dito. Pero dahil sa kapabayaan ng isang tao, nawala ang buhay nilang dalawa sa hindi inaasahan.
Kami, nagalit talaga kami, nalungkot. Lalo na ako, pwedeng isa ako ron eh. Kaya lang, siguro I was lucky na hindi ko pa siguro din araw.
Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The PNP CIDG will file a case of serious illegal detention against 8 suspects over the disappearance of several e-sabong players. 6 of the 8 suspects have been identified by witnesses and relatives of the victims. 4 senators want to cite Patafa board members in contempt for bringing pole vaulter E.G. Obiena to the Court of Arbitration for Sports in Switzerland. They say this violates their order for both parties to first undergo mediation proceedings. And Philippines bet Tracy Maureen Perez ended her Miss World journey in the top 13 of the pageant held in Puerto Rico. Carolina Bilasca of Poland was eventually crowned Miss World, besting over 90 candidates. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News.